So what's up, YouTube? Today we've got a 1950 John Deere M. Last week I painted this tractor, and so now it's time for the reassembly. It's been a project going on for a couple of months. To start out with, I got to finish painting these hubs yellow. I couldn't hit it with a gun while the tractor was still wet because I would have painted the whole tractor yellow. I've got a little touching up to do. We're going to try to do the reassembly all today, and hopefully get it running by the afternoon. So for the touch-up, I've got these Proval spray guns. These Proval spray guns, you can find them at your local O'Reilly's. Your paint that you mix up for your pressure pot gun and paint sprayers, that kind of thing, you just stick it in a little glass jar. It screws down right on the bottom of these little sprayers, and it basically converts your high dollar paint into something similar to a spray paint setup. But it's convenient because it has a smaller spray pattern. You don't use as much paint, and it's good for touching little things up like this. So I reckon I'll get started on this first. So I'm going to use this cardboard here to kind of mask off my surrounding area as I move around this hub so that I don't get paint all over my nice green tractor. We'll start by laying a little tack coat. As for that little bit of overspray that I got on the back side of this final drive, that paint has had a few days to harden, so I'm going to take some of this Master Pro wax and grease remover. It's not quite as an aggressive degreaser as what you might find in a lacquer thinner or an acrylic enamel reducer, but it should wipe this paint up without messing up the rest of my coat here. And as you can see, well, you probably can on the camera, doing a very good job of it. Just comes right up before that paint hardens, and yeah, it doesn't mess with my gloss at all. When I say gloss, I'm not necessarily referring to a clear coat. This tractor's not clear coated. That's just the natural gloss that's in the paint. start reattaching my sheet metal to my tractor and just kind of adjusting on things. I may have to go get some extra hardware because there was some hardware missing when it came apart. And then I'm going to be kind of touching things up with some paint as I go along. It's not going to be that big of a deal. The green won't have to be touched up as much as the yellow, which is what I did on those hubs. You can use those Preval sprayers to touch up. A lot of times I just use a paintbrush. It's never failed me. This paint's so thick anyways, you can just dab it on, it'll flow itself out pretty well. You just try not to leave a brush stroke in it, but it'll all be places you can't see, so you just kind of cover it up. This is just good for like hitting the tops of bolt heads and things like that. So you'll see me do that probably when I get towards the end. But yeah, I reckon I'm going to get started on that. Straightened out. Just had to take it off and reinstall it. So now I'm going to go and put my seat brackets on and my fenders. Well, actually I probably like to put my fenders on while I get my tires on. That's just because I think it might mess with my clearance with some of these bolts. I may test it a bit to see how my clearance will be. It's been about a year since I had the fenders on this tractor, so I gotta kind of remember how everything sets. It's not gonna mess with our regular head mount. We'll see. outside, so I'm not going to mount that just yet until I get the hardware that I need. Just going to hold off on it. That way, if I mount that fender and I forget that floor pan's not bolted completely in, and I go to step on it and I bust through it, I'm sure that doesn't happen. So I'm going to wait and mount this fender later, but I'll go ahead and skip my seat back and call it out.